regarding it. Shanley Formilosa. Shanley. Kian James Francisco. Kian. Hannah Francine Husay.
Present po, sir.
Thank you. Bea Lambino. Bea. Jamila Rain Lim. Jamila. Alexandra Nicole Lusterio. Darling Gail Magararo. Ang dami.
Present po.
Thank you. Pio Leoncio Managilod. Pio Leoncio Managilod.
Present po.
Thank you. Eberlyn Manriquez. Eberlyn. Pixel Nubal.
Present, sir.
Okay. May Pedrosa.
Present po.
Okay. Christine Joy Pelicano.
Present po, sir.
Angela Nadine Piconada.
Present.
Vicky Marie Kilo. Vicky. Aina Jem Hyacinth Remo. Jedi Christopher Rivera.
Present, sir.
Jeremy Rupino.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Raira San Jose. Raira San Jose. Lalaine Tumlos. Lalaine.
Present po.
Okay. Chelsea Mai Cabiado. Chelsea. I'm going to check your attendance again mamaya, no? Chat, limang chat. Wala kayong mga mic. Dali lang, ah. Dominic. Bea.
Sir, din po present.
Losterio.
Present po, sir.
Lim.
Present po.
Are you Jamila Rain? Lim?
Opo.
Thank you.
Opo.
Miss Remo at saka Tumlos. Ano? Remo and Miss Tumlos. URST. So ito yung currently ito yung may mga mark ng absent. Ano? Teresa Berlongan. You're present. Ay hindi, nasa ano ka sa vaccination center. Jericho, Shanley Formilosa wala, Kian Francisco wala, Eberlyn Manriquez wala, Vicky Marie Kilo wala, Raira San Jose wala, Chelsea Mai Cabiado wala. Okay. Let's proceed. Shanley, wala kang mic? Formilosa. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to share my PowerPoint. So today we'll be discussing chapter 10 of our textbook, ano? Yung Bannes, liquid vapor equilibrium. So this is chemical solution thermodynamics, ano? So we'll start with chapter 10 of Bannes. Naku po. Can you see the PowerPoint right now? Okay, so this is chapter 10, vapor liquid equilibrium. So we're going to discuss, diba kasi solution thermodynamics, ano? So we're going to discuss the basic laws that governs the vapor liquid relationship in solutions, ano? So we'll start with Raoult's law. So na-introduce na naman to sa physical chemistry. I hope you still remember this, ano? So Raoult's law is expressed as P sub A is equals to X sub A times P sub A star. Tandaan niyo pa naman yung mga variables dito? So ano yung P sub A? Ano yung P sub A? Jedi, Rivera, Pichem. Tandaan niyo pa yung P sub A? So P stands for pressure. What about pag meron siyang subscript na A? So anong ibig sabihin nun? Anong klaseng pressure to? So when you speak of Raoult's law, we are speaking here of solutions. Ano? So solutions, ang tawag sa pag halimbawa meron kayong two or more, no? Substances, tapos single phase lang sila. 'Di ba? Homogeneous. Na ano niyo ba? Natandaan niyo ba yung definition ng solution? Homogeneous. Ano halimbawa, tinunaw niyo yung ethanol sa water. Makikita niyo pa ba yung ethanol? Makikita niyo pa ba yung water? 'Di ba? Hindi na, single phase lang 'yon, ano? So halimbawa P sub A is halimbawa P ng alcohol. So ano yung P sub A? Jedi. Ano yung P sub A? P alcohol. That's what pressure? What kind of pressure? That's the vapor pressure of, of course, that's the vapor pressure of alcohol over the solution. Di ba? Kasi we have ethanol water solution. So P sub L, P alcohol yan, that's the vapor pressure of alcohol over the solution. Huh? This is the vapor pressure. Oh. Ngayon nyo lang nakita yung PowerPoint. Kasi nag-notice yung Zoom. Vapor pressure of A over the solution. Ano? What about yung X sub A? Ano yung X sub A? Anyone still remember these variables? Nicole, ano yung X sub A? What do you remember sa PChem nyo? Ano yung X sub A?
Sir, mole fraction po.
Very good. Mole fraction of A. Ano? So, halimbawa may solution kayo, tapos siyempre alam nyo kung ano yung mole fraction of A. X sub A is mole fraction of A. Very good, Nicole. Parang review lang naman to. Mole fraction of A. Halimbawa, meron kayong ethanol water solution. So, pwede itong mole fraction ng ethanol. Ano? And then P sub A star. Who you still remember what P sub A star is? Jeremy Rupino. What is P sub A star? Kung yung P sub A vapor pressure of A, ano yung P sub A star? Bakit siya merong star? Kaya yung ibang ano dyan, P sub A sat. P sub A sat. So ano yun? Ito yung, siyempre pressure din niya kasi P din eh. Ito yung vapor pressure of There may A. So of A. Pero, is it over the solution? Ano yung P sa base star? Anyone? Angela.
Vapor pressure of your A.
Okay. Pero ba't may star? Is it over the solution?
Yung pure substance po ng A.
Ah, very good, very good, very good, Angela. That's the vapor pressure of a pure A. Ano? Vapor pressure, diba, liquid siya, ano? Vapor pressure of pure liquid A. Yan. It's really liquid to. Very good, Angela. Yan. You need to remember this definition. Ano? Dapat na-imagine nyo itong mga definition ng terms natin na to. Ano? Otherwise, pag hindi nyo na-imagine yan, mechanical yung solution nyo. So pag mechanical kasi yung solution nyo, konting twist lang ng problem, hindi nyo na masosolve. Okay? So please try to understand this definition of the variables. Ano? So pag kasi halimbawa, binary yung solution natin. Halimbawa, may water tapos may ethanol, ano? So kaya merong A at saka may B. So parehas lang naman yung yung PB is equals to XB PB star. Ganun din yan, yung PB vapor pressure of B over the solution, no? Yung XB mole fraction of B. Yung PB star vapor pressure of pure liquid B. Okay? So halimbawa, we're speaking of water. Halimbawa, water. Ano? Kung tandaan niyo pa yung steam table natin sa 1, 2, 3P, nakapag-steam table kayo, inabot niyo yung steam table sa 1, 2, 3P. Nakagamit kayo ng steam table. Yung karamihan kasi sa inyo, kay Sir Prias. Kay Sir Prias nag 1, 2, 3P. Bawa sino ba kayo? Yung mga hindi ko naging estudyante. Ito, si Shanley. Shanley, are you familiar with the steam table? Naabot niyo ba sa 1, 2, 3P? Mamaya, Ever. Mamaya ako nag-check yung attendance. Pero pala-alam nila muna namin. After the discussion. Vicky, pero can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me right now? Naririnig naman ako, Vicky. So ano na lang. Siguro restart or whatever. Pakiayos na lang yung audio mo. Okay na daw. Okay. Anyway, what I'm trying to say, going back to our topic, going back to steam table. What I'm trying to say is, halimbawa, di ba sa steam table, meron kayong temperature tapos meron kayong pressure column. So yung pressure column doon, that's pH2O star. That's pH2O saturated. No? Ganun yun. So halimbawa, generally may mga ganun kasing problem. Pag water, hindi binibigay yung PA star. So gagamit kayo ng steam table. That's why I'm asking kung familiar kayo. Kasi it's supposed to be natapos na sa 1, 2, 3P. Nakuha na sa 1, 2, 3P ang steam table. Okay. So let's proceed. Kung hindi naman, kung hindi niyo naman nakita, as long as you have the alam kung merong So sa handbook may may steam table, another one, so siyempre sa Banes. Kung meron kayong Banes, yung libro natin, meron ding steam table doon. So mas mas extensive yung sa Banes, Okay, so the next equation is yung total pressure P right here, yung total pressure P is equals to P sub A plus P sub B. So add nyo yung dalawang vapor pressure. Diba, binary lang tayo, dalawa lang component ng A and B lang, So add nyo yung dalawang pressure, yung vapor pressure ng A plus yung vapor pressure ng B, right here. You're going to get the total pressure. That's how you get the total pressure. Tapos, also, we're going to use this equation. Y sub A is equals to P sub A over P. So, itong equation na to, we are assuming that the system follows the ideal gas equation. Ano? So, assume ideal gas equation. This is IG is ideal gas equation. No? So basically ang mangyayari dito ang nangyari kasi dito, 'di ba ang Y sub A, is number of moles of A divided by total number of moles, no? So if you apply the ideal gas equation, the ideal gas equation is PB is equals to nRT. Diba? So halimbawa, this is N sub A. So you will have P sub A. Tapos the gas is occupying the same volume and temperature kasi they are occupying the same container. Ano? So if you're going to substitute if you're going to isolate N sub A is equals to PA times B divided by RT. No? Ganon din yung sa N total. Yung N total naman, you have P times B divided by RT. So pag kinancel out niyo yung similar terms, okay? So you're going to reduce this equation Y sub A is equals to P sub A over P. If IG is holds, ano? This one. So do you have any question regarding these four equations? Okay lang? Okay. So let's proceed if you don't have any questions. So let's try to solve example 10.1. Binary system, acetonitrile, that's number 1, and nitromethane, that's number 2, conforms closely to Raoult's law. Vapor pressures for the pure species are given by the following Antoine's equation. You're familiar with the Antoine's equation? Nakuha nyo rin sa 1, 2, 3P o kaya sa PChem. So basically ito yung formula, Ln, that's the P saturated, or this is the same as P star. No, ito yung ginagamit na notation ni Banes. Sa ano kasi sa PChem, P1 star yung ginagamit o kaya PA star, no? So that is the same as P1 sat. Yan. So this is sa saturated pressure or the vapor pressure of pure A. Ganun lang yan. No? So this is in kilopascal. So this is 14.2724 minus 2,945.47. Ang Antoine's equation din ay na-encounter sa Chicalc. Na-encounter nyo sa Chicalc? You're familiar with the Antoine's equation? Anyway, basta ano lang naman to, temperature-pressure relationship. No? So 14.2724 minus 2,945.47 divided by T. This is T. This is T T in degrees Celsius, temperature in degrees Celsius. You're familiar with this kind of notation? So pag merong bar na gano'n, tapos kPa, ito yung unit niya, kPa nung pressure, tapos ito yung unit ng temperature, degrees Celsius, plus 224. Basically, isa-substitute lang yung given temperature. Ito yung given temperature, 75. Substitute lang doon sa P. And then you can use your calculator to solve for P1 star or P1 sat. No? Okay, then we have the Ln2 equation. Okay? So you're asked to prepare a graph showing P versus X1 and P versus Y1 for a temperature of 75 degrees Celsius. So what you're going to do is calculate nyo lang yung P1 sat at this temperature, 75. Substitute nyo lang yung 75 dito. Tapos meron na kayong P1 sat at saka P2 sat. Tapos gagamitin lang natin yung Raoult's law. So kasi you are asked to graph for X1. Now P versus X1. So mag-a-assume lang kayo ng X1. Halimbawa, you start X1 at, di ba, ganito yung equation natin. P1 is equals to P1 star times X1. So mag-a-assume lang kayo ng X1. Halimbawa, X1 is equals to 0. So P1 is equals to 0. Ganun lang, Kasi you have this. Yun, we have this from here. Then you will have the value of P1. Tapos kasi binary lang naman yan. So X1 plus X2 is equals to 1. Di ba? So halimbawa, if x1 is equals to 0, therefore x2 is equals to 1. Ganun lamang yun. Ano? So pag meron na kayong x2, gamitin niyo yung Raoult's law ng x2, di ba? P2 is equals to P2 star or P2 sat times x2. You're going to get x2. So ang P, you just get the sum of P1 and P2. No, you're going to get P. Do you have any questions? So once you have P, so you'll be able to do this. Gawin nyo lang sa maraming x1, ba? x1 0, x1.2, x1.4, etc. Ano? So once you have P, so in order to calculate y1, y1 is simply equal to P1 divided by P. Yung P1 ito, na-calculate earlier. Do you have any question at this point? So for example, let's assume that let's assume that x1 is equals to 0. So basically gagawin niyo naman lahat yan, ano, from 0 to 1. So if x1 is equals to 0, so calculate muna natin to, substitute niyo yung 75 dito. Let me clear this, ano? Sulatan tayo. So substitute yung 75 dito. Dito. Substitute yung 75 dito. 75 degrees Celsius. Tapos use the calculator. So you're going to get P1 sat. Get your calculator para hindi kayo antokin. Try to get your calculator. Tsaka notes, no? Notes. Try to survive this pandemic. Ano? Lilipas din yan. So, question? If you have any question, okay lang. Huwag kayong mahiya kahit na ano. Kahit tayo lang naman. Kahit na, kumbaga iniisip niyo baka sablay yung tanong ko, okay lang yun. Kahit tayo lang naman. Mas masaya nga pag magtatanong kayo. Yun lang isipin niyo, mas masaya pag magtatanong kayo. Okay, so keep solve pala ako. Then I'm getting how much P1 sat are you getting? Everlyn. Ilang P1 sat na kukuha mo? You're supposed to get something like, I'm getting 81.20, 83.21 no KPA. Are you getting this value? Bakit ganun? Black naman. Yun is 83.21. If you substitute 75 right here, ano? You're supposed to get P1 sat is equals to 83.21. So try that on P2 sat. So substitute nyo rin yung 75 dito. Okay? LNP2 sat. Okay lang ba? Alam niyo, masusundan naman yung ginagawa natin. Alam naman pindutin to sa calculator. Kayo kasi yung mga batang nagsimula ng college, halos pandemic na, ano. Huwag kayong mahiya kung ano, kung may problema pa ba sa calculator. Magtanong kayo. Basically ito pag ginagamitan to ng ano ha, ng fraction function, yung ganito, pag may ganyan, ako ginagamitan ko rin ng ganyan sa calculator. Hanapin niyo yung ganito sa calculator. Mas convenient yan, mas less prone sa error. So pag nakuha niyo na yung nasa left side, ano lang, kung ayaw niyo mag-shift solve, ano, kunin niyo lang yung E, shift E, tapos answer. So you're supposed to get 43.64. Are you getting 43.64? P2 sat. Okay. So next, we're going to assume, that x1 is equals to 0. So if x1 is equals to 0, automatically, di ba, using the Raoult's law, di ba, P1 is equals to P1 sat. Parehas lang yung P1 sat at P1 star, ano, times x1. So automatically, P1 would be equal to 0. So yun namang P2, kasi if x1 is equals to 0, di ba? Therefore x2 is equals to 1. Do you agree? Kasi x1 plus x2 is equals to 1. So therefore x2 is equals to 1. So it will follow, since P2 is equals to P2 sat times x2. So it will follow that P2, di ba? Pag sinubstitute dito yan, P2 is equals to 43.64 kPa, di ba? Can you follow? So how do we calculate P, the total pressure? So the total pressure is just simply P1 plus P2. So 0 plus 43.64 kPa. No? Pag nag-end yung session natin, kasi 45 minutes lang to. I'm going to I'm going to provide another Zoom link, tapos connect ulit kayo, ha? In 10 minutes time, puputol tayo. So P is equals to 43.64. Question. Do you have any question regarding P? Ito yung X1 natin, tapos ito yung P natin. Di ba? You're asked to graph P versus X1. Ano? So we're just going to repeat this for several X's. So next is Y1. No? And then because you need to graph P versus Y1. So Y1 is simply P1 divided by P. So ang P1 natin ay 0 divided by 43.64. So ang Y1 ay 0. Do you have any question regarding this solution? Dali lang, ah. Dali babasa ko. 43.64. 14.2043 minus, mali daw, sabi ni 2972.64. 75 plus 209. 209, di ba? Yung P2. P2 yung sinasabi mo, ano? Makamali nga yung pindot ko. Shift, E, hands. Yep, it's 41.98. Sorry for that. This is 41.98. Ano? Thank you, ano, Evelyn. So, this is 41.98. Okay, yan, 0 pa rin to. Any other question? Mali yung pindot ko. Any other question? So, ganun din, ano? So, halimbawa, x2, halimbawa, x1, if x1 is equals to, halimbawa, 0.2, so it will follow that x2 is equals to, ilan ang x2? Pag 0.2 ang x1, 0.8, di ba? And then proceed as this, kamukha rin lang nito. Ano? Do you have any question? So, if we're going to proceed, you should have something like this. Ano? Ito yung ginawa natin. Ano? X1 is 0, Y1 is 0, pressure is 41.98 kilopascal. So, if you're going to proceed with 0.2, okay, halimbawa 0.2, if X2 is 0.2, halimbawa X2 is 0.2, ano, X1 is 0.2, so X2 is 0.8, ano? So, calculate nyo lamang yung P1, di ba? This is P1 sat times X1. So, P1 sat is ano, 83.21. This is 83.21. So, times 0.2. We're supposed to get 16.64, ano? Tapos P2 sat X2. So P2 is, ito yung 41.98, ano? 41.98. Pero i-multiply niyo 0.8. 33.58. Tapos you add P1 and P2. Ano, you add P1 and P2. Both of this is in ano, KPA. Ano? So 16.64 plus 33.58. You're supposed to get something like 50.22. Ito. Or 50.23. Nag-round up siguro kasi ako. Hindi ko nakuha yung last digit. Ano? Ito yun. No? So, in order to get y1 is simply this one. Kasi di ba y1 is p1 divided by p. So, ito yon tapos divided by dito. Ano? Susundan naman. Dali lang naman. Basically, pag mag-exam naman tayo, ganyan din lang. Kaya lang siyempre, iba yung variable nyo. Ano? You're supposed to get 0.3313. Okay. Question? So, yun. Tapusin nyo na lang hanggang 1. 0.4, 0.6, 0.81. Do you have any question? Okay, so if you don't have any question, let's take a look at the next topic. So yun, if you're going to plot this data, ano? So syempre, ito yung pressure, in KPA sa Y. Tapos sa X, we have the X1 or Y1, no? X1 or Y1 yung x-axis, no? So, yun, kita nyo yung at x is equals to 0, yung pressure natin yung 41.98 dito. No? Ito yung 41.98. Tapos ito yung 83.21 when x is equals to 1 yung sa dulo. Ano? Tapos ito yung x, syempre yung x, di ba? 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8. So diretso lamang yan. You have a straight line. Ito yung x. Itong straight line na to. This is straight line. Ito yung x. Ano? Tapos itong curve na to, ito yung y1. So yung y1 yung kinalculate natin. Ito yung curve sa ilalim. So you're familiar with this curve sa PChem. So this is the vapor pressure temperature phase diagram, di ba? So kung tandaan nyo pa yung nasa taas, pag pressure versus temperature diagram, yung nasa taas subcooled liquid, no? Subcooled liquid yung nasa taas. Yung nasa ilalim, superheated vapor, no? Tapos yung nasa loob nito, this is two phase, no? Liquid vapor phase yan. Itong sa taas liquid, itong sa baba vapor. Tapos ito liquid vapor. Okay, tandaan niyo pa? Okay, so halimbawa ito yung substance A at this temperature, halimbawa 80, ano? Tapos ininit nyo siya, pagdating dito sa B, ito yung kanyang bubble point. Ang bubble point yung unang lumabas yung first no? Unang parang boiling point niya yan, parang, di ba? 'Yon. Actually, itong buong range na to, pag solution, di ba, ang kanyang boiling hindi point range, ano? Boiling point range ito. So, ito yung bubble point, yung unang appearance ng ng vapor phase, no? Yung unang trace ng vapor lumalabas dun sa bubble point. Tandaan niyo pa kasi magbo-boil siya eh. Pagdating niya dito sa pressure na to, magbo-boil siya. Ito yung boiling pressure niya, no? So, ito yung composition ng first vapor, no? So, as you lower the pressure, kasi pressure to, as you lower the pressure right here, ito naman yung dew point, no? Ito yung last drop ng liquid, meron pang natitira, no? Last drop ng liquid. Pero yun, as you lower the pressure, mawawala na yun. This is at equilibrium, di ba? So bubble point, kaya may B. Tapos yung C, dew point. Question? Okay. So, daan to sa exam, ano? And then, Henry's Law. Less than 1 minute na lang tayo. Sa kabilang, sa kabilang ano na tayo, ha? Lipat na tayo. Okay. So, abangan nyo yung abangan nyo yung link sa BBL. I'm going to end this, meeting. Doon tayo sa kabila. Lipat tayo.